Somewhere on this mountain, there is a cat watching. You will not see her. She has been here the whole time. You walked past her an hour ago, and she let you go. Her name, where she lives, is the same in 5 different mountain languages. She is the ghost. She is the cloud cat. She is the spirit of the high places. Most of what we know about her, we know from the prints she leaves. From a tuft of fur on a thorn bush. From a scratch mark on a boulder she rubbed against last week. There may be 4,000 of her left in the world. There may be 6,000. Nobody is sure. She is too good at not being seen. This is the snow leopard. And this morning, on this mountain, she has work to do. She lives where the trees stop growing, above the last juniper, above the last birch, above almost everything else with a heartbeat. 3,000 meters, 4,000, sometimes 5,000 and more. Almost 2 miles up, sometimes 3, where the air is thin enough that the average human can't walk fast without stopping to breathe. She lives at the same altitudes climbers reach for the summit of mountains that have names. She just lives there, all year. The wind on her ridge moves at speeds that knock people down. The cold drops past -40. The sun, this thin, burns the fur off the noses of the marmots that live below her. And every one of those things she was built for. The thin air, the cold, the wind, the cliffs. Her body is the shape this mountain made. She is the highest living big cat on Earth. The mountain is her whole world, and almost nothing else her size can reach her here. Her tail is the first thing you notice about her. It is almost as long as her body. 3 feet, sometimes more. She uses it for balance. When she runs along the top of a cliff, the tail counterweights every step. When she leaps, the tail steers her in midair. And when she sleeps, she wraps her tail around her face and breathes through it. The fur warms the cold air before it reaches her lungs. Her paws are wide and furred between the pads. They distribute her weight across the snow like snowshoes. They grip wet rock without slipping. They keep her toes warm at temperatures that would frostbite anything else. Her fur, on her belly, grows 5 inches thick. Hollow guard hairs trap a layer of warm air against her skin. Her nose is wider than any other big cat's. Big nasal passages to warm, thin, cold mountain air before it reaches her chest. By the time the air gets to her lungs, she has already heated it. There are 5 big cats on Earth that we put in the same genus: lion, tiger, leopard, jaguar, snow leopard. 4 of those 5 can roar. The lion you have heard. The tiger, the jaguar, the leopard, all can make a sound that carries miles. The 5th one, the snow leopard, can't. The bone in her throat, the part that lets the others roar, never finished forming the way theirs did. Her vocal cords are not built for it. What she does instead is chuff, a soft, low, rolling sound halfway between a purr and a question. She greets her cubs with it. She greets a mate in winter with it. She greets nothing else. The biggest predator on this mountain is also the quietest. She does not need a roar. She has the silence of the whole range to do her talking. Her coat is the color of the mountain. Smoky gray, pale gold, charcoal rosettes broken into pieces exactly the size and shape of the shadows between the rocks. Each rosette is a smudge of camouflage. From 30 feet away, she is a pile of stones. From 100 feet, she is the mountain itself. No 2 snow leopards have the same pattern. The rosettes are like fingerprints. The mountain made each one alone. Her body is built lower and longer than the other big cats. Her shoulder blades sit closer to the spine. Her hind legs are longer than her front legs. All of it adds up to the same answer. She is built to climb. She is built to leap. She is built for the cliff edges where nothing else of her size can follow. And the things she hunts up here, the baral, the ibex, the pikas, the marmots, almost all of them are also climbers. So she goes where they go, higher. This is a baral. Sometimes people call it a blue sheep. It isn't a true sheep, and it isn't really blue. It is a high-altitude grazer that lives on the same impossible cliffs the snow leopard lives on. It is her favorite food. In some valleys, it is almost the only thing she eats. A baral weighs about 140 pounds, sometimes more. The snow leopard herself weighs about 80. So when she takes one down, she is taking down something almost twice her size. That's a normal day for her. She has been recorded killing animals 3 times her weight, and once, 4. The baral knows she's somewhere. Every wild thing on this mountain knows the snow leopard is somewhere. They just don't know where, and that is the part that keeps them moving. The baral grazes with one eye on the cliffs above. The cliffs are where she comes from. The cliffs are always where she comes from. She does not chase her food across the open. The snow leopard is not built for a long sprint. Her lungs are not big enough. The air, this high, is too thin for it. What she is built for is the drop. She climbs above them, then she waits. She finds a rock that breaks her outline. She lies flat against it. And she watches, sometimes for hours, until the herd works its way along the slope below her. When she finally moves, she moves like falling. She can leap 50 feet across a chasm in a single jump, 20 feet straight up. She has been recorded clearing the length of a city bus in midair, sideways, downhill. By the time the baral hears her, she is already on top of it. By the time the rest of the herd registers what happened, the slope has gone quiet. She drops. She lands on the back of one animal, twice her weight, and she rides it down the slope. What happens next is fast. She does not waste energy. At this altitude, energy is the most expensive thing in her body, and she spends it carefully. She turns the animal as it falls. She places her bite at the throat. Her jaw closes on the windpipe. The baral goes limp in under a minute. She does not eat right away. She rests, with one paw on the body. She listens. She watches the ridges above her and the valley below. Up here, there are wolves. There are golden eagles big enough to take a small cub. There are other snow leopards, sometimes, whose territory overlaps with hers at the edges. Anything that finds her now will try to take her food. So before she eats, she moves the body. Sometimes she pulls her kill uphill. Sometimes she pulls it down into a stone cleft, or under an overhang, or behind a boulder where ravens and wolves can't see it. One large baral feeds her for 3 or 4 days. She does not waste any of it. She eats the meat first, then the organs. Then she returns and returns until almost nothing is left. Between meals, she rests near the body. She watches it. She defends it. Anything that comes for her food, she will fight, even animals bigger than her. The ravens are the first to know. They circle above the cleft. They wait for her to leave. She doesn't leave. A snowstorm rolls through during the second night. She lets the snow fall on her. She lets it cover the kill, and her, and the rocks around them, all the same color of white. When she sleeps, even the ravens cannot find her again. Somewhere, on this mountain, she has cubs. They are not with her on the hunt. They have not been with her on the hunt for the entire summer. They are too young, still, to follow a kill. They are in a den, a small dry shelter under a rock, lined with her own fur, somewhere only she knows the way to. She had 2 of them, this litter. Sometimes she has 3, sometimes 1. She does not have many at a time. She does not have litters often. A snow leopard mother has cubs once every 2 years, on average. She raises them, completely alone, for almost 2 full years before they leave her. The father is somewhere else on the mountain, in another valley, doing the things male snow leopards do, which is not this. By their second summer, the cubs go with her. They watch her from a safe distance. They watch her stalk. They watch her drop. They learn the same way every cat learns, by copying, by failing, by slowly, over hundreds of attempts, getting better. Their first kills, when they finally make them, are small. A pika, a marmot, something the size of a rabbit. The big prey comes later. She lets them practice on the wind, on their own tails, on each other, on things that don't fight back, until they're ready for things that do. She does not punish them when they fail. She does not reward them when they succeed. She simply moves on to the next slope, and the next, and they follow. By the time they are 18 months old, they will know almost everything she knows. By the time they are 2, they will be on their own mountains. Her range, the part of the mountain she calls hers, is enormous. A male snow leopard's territory can be 100 square miles. A female's, a third of that. She does not patrol the edges. She does not fight other snow leopards over them. There are not enough of her, in any one place, to fight. What she does, instead, is leave messages. She rubs her face on rocks. She scratches the bark of a juniper or the side of a boulder, leaving claw marks the next leopard will find. She leaves scent at the base of cairns, at the corners of trails, at every crossing. Another snow leopard, weeks later, finds the message, reads it, decides whether to stay or to go around. Most of them go around. The mountain is big enough for both of them, if neither one looks the other in the eye. The marmot lives on this mountain. So does the pika. The ibex lives on this mountain. So does the baral, and the argali, and the urial, and the goral. The golden eagle hunts above. The Himalayan vulture circles higher. The snowcock walks the cliffs in flocks, calling to each other across the wind. The Tibetan fox lives lower, where the rocks meet the grass. The lynx lives in the wooded valleys below the tree line. The wolf moves through both. Sometimes a herd of domestic yak crosses the high pass with a herder following them. Sometimes a wild yak passes alone. All of them know the snow leopard is here, somewhere. None of them know exactly where. And so all of them keep moving. By mid-morning, she is full. She has eaten, and she has cached the rest of the baral under a rock. And she has walked half a mile from the kill, to a sheltered ledge where she likes to lie. The sun, this high, is fierce. It cuts through the thin air. It warms the rock she lies on. She wraps her tail around her face. She tucks her paws under her chest. She closes her eyes. She sleeps with one ear up. The wind rolls across the ledge. The sun moves slowly across the rocks. Sometimes a chuff, a small, high mountain crow with red legs, lands a few feet from her and looks at her and decides she is asleep and walks closer. She does not mind. The chuff is not food. She lets it come close. She lets the day pass. There are wolves on this mountain. Mostly they hunt lower. Mostly they hunt the same prey she does. Sometimes in a hard winter they come up. When they meet, the snow leopard climbs. The wolves do not climb the way she does. The cliff is hers. The valley floor is theirs. A golden eagle, in the right wind, can lift a snow leopard cub. She knows that. She keeps her cubs close to the den until they're heavy enough that no eagle will try. The mountain itself takes more snow leopards than the wolves and the eagles ever do. A bad winter. A failed hunt. A cub that strays too far in a storm. About a third of her cubs do not live to see their first birthday. The mountain is not gentle, even with the animals it made. But the ones that do live a long time. 15 years. 18 sometimes. A few, in the safest valleys, 20. The afternoon sun starts to drop. The shadows on the slope grow longer. The baral, which were resting through the heat, stand up again to graze. The snow leopard wakes. She stretches. She yawns, and the chuff, still sitting near her, hops sideways and decides to leave. She walks the long edge of the ridge. The light catches her fur, and for a moment she is gold instead of gray, and she is the most visible she will ever be all day. She does not stay in the light long. The shadow side of the ridge calls her back. She slips into the cold blue half of the mountain and disappears again. She is hunting again. Not because she is hungry. The baral she cached this morning is still mostly there. But the cubs, 2 valleys over, have not eaten in 2 days. So she will eat first, and then she will carry. The mountain is not close. She has work to do before dark. She feels the storm before she sees it. The pressure changes. The air drops. The wind on the high ridge starts to shift. Other animals go down the slope. She has watched them all afternoon doing it. The baral move to the lee side. The pikas vanish into rock. The marmots are already underground. She does not go down. She finds a rock big enough to break the wind, and she presses the long line of her body against it, and she lets the storm do what it does. The snow falls fast. It piles against her. The wind howls around the rock and over her ears. She does not fight it. The fur she was made with is enough. The tail wrapped around her face is enough. Inside her chest, her heart slows. Her body settles. The cold becomes a thing she lets exist around her. The storm passes, sometime in the night. When it stops, she is buried up to her shoulders. She stands, slowly. The snow falls off her in clean, pale sheets. Underneath, she is dry. The sky over a mountain like this, on a clear night after a storm, is something almost no human ever sees from a city. The thin air does not soften the stars. The high altitude does not blur them. The Milky Way arcs from one ridge to the other, unbroken, like a road. She sits at the edge of a ridge. She looks up. Cats see better in the dark than we do. She is seeing more stars than any human eye can. The temperature drops further. She does not move. She stays out on the ridge and watches. The wind, after the storm, has gone quiet. The whole range is silent. It is the silence of the highest place on earth, in the middle of the night, with nothing breathing for miles. She is the only warm thing within a day's walk in any direction. And she is not lonely. She has been alone almost her whole life. She prefers it. 2 valleys away, in the small, dry den under the rock, the cubs are asleep. They are curled into each other, a single warm pile of fur. Their breathing is slow. Their bellies are full from the meal she brought them yesterday. They do not know their mother is not coming back tonight. They will not know until morning, when she walks through the den entrance with the cold of the mountain still in her fur. They will smell her before they see her. Her scent in the air will wake them. They will run to her and bump their heads against her chest and chuff against her in the dark. She will lie down. She will let them climb on her. She will let them nurse. She will let them fall asleep again against her side. And only then, with all of them warm and all of them safe, and the whole mountain quiet around them, will she finally close her eyes. The snow leopard is the highest big cat on Earth. Almost nothing else her size can live where she lives. Almost nothing else her size has ever needed to. She will walk the same ridge tomorrow. She will stalk the same barrel, on the same slope, from the same rocks above, the way her mother stalked them, and her mother before her. The mountain made her. The mountain made every part of her. The tail, the paws, the lungs, the rosettes, the silence she carries instead of a roar. And the mountain, when she is gone, will go on being the mountain. But while she is here, every footprint she leaves on the high passes is the print of an animal that is exactly where she is supposed to be. Somewhere, on a mountain that almost no one has walked, a cat is asleep with her cubs in the dark. Outside the den, the snow is still falling, soft, slow, the kind of snow that makes no sound when it lands. The wind, for now, has stopped. The valley below the den is full of it. The stars, above the storm, are still out. The Milky Way is still there. And the ghost of the mountain is, for tonight, exactly where she should be. Sleep well.